Good afternoon, Commissioners. Natasha, I don't have that on my screen, but I see it in a little corner, so I assume that's my cue to begin.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Commissioners, and I hope everyone is having a great week so far. I would like to call to order the August 12th, 2021 meeting of the Santa Barbara Local Agencies Formation Commission. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Seves.
Here.
Commissioner Allen.
Here.
Commissioner Freeman.
Here.
Commissioner Geyer.
Here.
Commissioner Hartman.
Here.
Commissioner Lavanino.
Here.
Commissioner Sierra.
Here.
Commissioner Stark.
Here.
Commissioner Waterfield.
Here.
Commissioner Welt. Commissioner Williams. Let the record reflect that Commissioner Welt and Commissioner Williams are absent.
Thank you. At this time, would you please join everyone in standing for our Pledge of Allegiance? If everyone could please stand, that would be great. Yes, Jay, can you stand or are you standing?
I'm at a standing desk, actually, so I'm always standing.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, great. Wonderful. We begin. I pledge allegiance and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The next item of business is the approval of the minutes from the June 3rd, 2021 meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review those minutes? If there are no changes, I will now entertain a motion.
Commissioner Hartman moves approval.
Is there a second?
Yes, I thought I seconded it.
Okay, I can't quite hear that well on my end, so I apologize for that. Any further discussion? If not, Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Seves.
Aye.
Commissioner Freeman.
Aye.
Commissioner Geyer.
Aye.
Commissioner Hartman.
Aye.
Commissioner Lavanino.
Aye.
Commissioner Stark.
Aye.
Commissioner Waterfield. I'm sorry,
Aye.
Chair Waterfield.
That's okay. I answered to both. Not a
Motion
problem.
passes unanimously.
Great. Our next item is public comment. Do we have any people to speak on public comment at this time?
Chair Waterfield and members of the commission, we have no requests to speak on Zoom today, nor do we have anyone present in Santa Barbara.
Okay, thank you. We'll just pass that right along. And the next item of business is the approval of the consent calendar. Would any commissioners like to pull an item off the consent calendar? If not, then I will now entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Commissioner Hartman moves approval.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Commissioner Geyer.
Thank you. Any further discussion? If not, Madam Clerk, will you count the roll?
Commissioner Seves.
Aye.
Commissioner Freeman.
Aye.
Commissioner Geyer.
Aye.
Commissioner Hartman.
Aye.
Commissioner Lavanino.
Aye.
Commissioner Stark.
Aye.
Chair Waterfield.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. The next item of business is going to be the business items, and we are going to be looking at business item number 1. Will the clerk please read that item into the record?
Chair Waterfield and members of the commission, business item number 1 is to receive and file a report on disbursement. To receive and file the 2019 and 2020 audit report by Bartlett, Pringle, and Wolf.
Do we have any board questions in regards to this?
Chair Waterfield.
If everyone had a chance to look at that.
Chair Waterfield, this is
Yes.
Mike Prater, Executive Officer. I'll give a brief
Hi, Mike.
I'll give a brief statement. Hi. So yeah, this is the
Thank you.
completed 2020 audit that was conducted by Bartlett, Pringle, and Wolf. The audit team issued a clean opinion for the commission. That means that the commission's assets exceeded its liabilities, and its revenues also exceeded its expenses for those 2 years. We have on the Zoom call Tracy Solomon, who is a partner with the firm, if their commissioners do have any questions that she can answer. And that's it, my brief statement. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from the commissioners? I don't hear anything.
Yep.
So
Good.
that sounds like everybody is in agreement with this report. Is there anyone for public comment on this one, Madam Clerk?
Chair Waterfield and members of the commission, we have no request to speak today.
Okay, thank you. Well, then now I will entertain a motion.
Is the appropriate thing to accept and file, is that?
Yes.
I'd so move.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Commissioner Gyro.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Seves,
Aye.
Commissioner Freeman,
Aye.
Commissioner Guyer,
Aye.
Commissioner Hartman,
Aye.
Commissioner Lavanino,
Aye.
Commissioner Stark,
Aye.
Chair Waterfield.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Our next item is item number 2. Will the clerk please read that item into the record?
Chair Waterfield and members of the commission, business item number 2 is to consider making nominations to the 2021-2022 Calafco Board of Directors and to select voting delegates for the 2021 Calafco elections.
Mr. Prater, will you give us a report, please? I can't hear you. Sorry.
Thank you, Tracy, on the last item. Thank you, Tracy, for being online, even though we didn't have to go to you, so thanks. Chair and Commissioners, this is, we have several items for Calafco on today's agenda. The first one is this nominations for Calafco Board for the 21-22 Board of Directors. The 2 seats that are open are a city member and a public member. So if there are any commissioners that choose to run for those 2 seats, then staff will file the proper paperwork for that. Following that, if there are no commissioners, that's okay as well. Following that, the second item is to select and appoint a regular voting delegate and an alternate delegate for the vote in the coastal region that will occur at the annual conference this year in October. So to submit our deadline, if there is somebody that wants to run, that would be September 7th on that deadline that we'd have to take an action. We do have a meeting on September 2nd that we could bring an item back if somebody wants to think about it and request that we bring an item back for the 2nd, and we can nominate you then. So that concludes my report for this item.
Thank you, Mr. Prater. Do we have anybody from our current commissioners that do serve on any of the city or the coastal region, the central region?
Nobody from Santa Barbara Lafco is sitting on Calafco.
Okay, that's what I need to know. Are there any commissioners that would like to nominate somebody or a board member or to sit at the central region?
Maybe more relatedly, is there anyone who wants to be nominated?
Oh, that's it. I think that's kind of both. I don't think anybody does. I hear crickets, so we'll move right along with that one. So since there is no appointing at anyone, Mike, do we need to make a motion on this?
No, we just will not nominate anybody to run. On the second half of this item is to select a voting delegate and an alternate. So if there are any nominations for the
A voting delegate?
This one's a little bit trickier because we have to kind of tip our hand a little bit as to who wants to go to the conference and be present to be the voting delegate. So you might have to talk a little bit amongst yourselves about who might plan on attending. Staff is.
Will there be a conference?
Yeah, well, we have that as a future item on this agenda. We'll talk under informational items. Under informational item 1 is the conference itself, and I'll give you a little bit of a background on that.
Okay.
If you'd like, we could postpone the selection until after we've had that item, and then we might get a feel for who might want to attend the conference.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
may I ask our executive director, what is the deadline for appointing the voting delegates, and can that wait till the September meeting?
The deadline is September 7th.
So we could
It could wait.
perceive it once both the names of the people that are going to the conference and whether they're going to have a conference will be known at that time.
Yeah.
I would suggest that's a prudent way to operate.
I would agree. Any other comments from any of the other commissioners? If not, we'll just
Well,
go ahead and wait till the September 7th. Are the commissioners in agreement to see if anybody will be attending the Newport conference from October 6th to the 8th?
we simply continue the item till next month.
Absolutely. Let's continue. Okay, we'll just go ahead and continue it to our next meeting in September. When is our next meeting in September?
September 2nd.
Okay, perfect.
Madam Chair, do we need a motion for that?
That's what was my next question.
Okay, I'll move to move the nomination process and voting delegate to the September 7th meeting.
Fantastic. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, will you please call roll?
Commissioner Seves,
Aye.
Commissioner Freeman,
Aye.
Commissioner Guyer,
Aye.
Commissioner Hartman,
Aye.
Commissioner Lavanino,
Aye.
Commissioner Start,
Aye.
Chair Waterfield.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Great. The next item of business is item number 3. Will the clerk please read that item into the record?
Chair Waterfield and members of the commission, business item number 3 is to consider making nominations for the 2021 Calafco Achievement Awards and provide direction to staff.
And Mr. Prater, would you please give us a report?
Thank you, Chair. This is a request from Calafco as well for achievement awards. Every year they give out different awards for various categories. If the commission is interested in nominating for one of those categories, staff will certainly follow up. But I will note that the deadline is tomorrow, and my preference is to not work throughout the night. But if the commission does want to nominate an award, I'll do my best to submit one. That concludes my presentation.
What is the commission's pleasure? Thank you very much. Do we have any commissioners that want to nominate? It's all due tomorrow, so do we want to just pass?
I would be strongly in favor of letting our EO get a decent night's sleep.
I would agree with you. Okay, so then we will just go ahead and pass on this item number 3. Do we need a motion for this one?
Yeah, Madam Chair, this is Bill Dillon, Counsel for Lafco. You do not need a motion if you take no action. If you just move on and ask the clerk to
Okay.
call the next item, that would end the item.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next item is business item number 4. Will the clerk please read that item into the record?
Chair Waterfield and members of the commission, business item number 4 is to consider an amendment to Commissioner Handbook Section 9.E to raise commissioner stipends from $150 to $200 for attendance at eligible meeting and related amendments to Lafco budget for fiscal year 2021-2022.
Thank you. Mr. Prater, would you like to give us a report?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is an item that was requested and co-authored by two of our fellow commissioners, Commissioner Guyer and Commissioner Seves. And this was to look at the commissioner stipend. The last change for the commissioner stipend was in 2007. It's been quite a number of years since we've looked at it. If the commissioners themselves would like to speak more about the item, we'll certainly let them have an opportunity to speak. Essentially, this would increase the stipend from 150 to 200. There's a maximum number of 5 meetings in a month that a commissioner is allowed under the guideline. And as indicated in the report, this is pretty nominal increase overall for the budget, which would be handled by the contingency reserve. So, commissioners, if you'd like to speak more on the item, I'll
Please,
turn to you.
Commissioner Skyers or Sezes, if you would like to speak. Neither one?
Greg, you want to go first?
No, I thought it was a good idea to take a look at it after 14 years. It might be worthy of putting on the agenda and talk about it and look at it.
When Commissioner Guyer called me, I didn't realize that it had been so many years since this has been addressed. Many entities have cost of living increase as a way of handling this. But I think the one-time increase, I think as the staff report reflects, should cover the district for quite a while. So I think it's appropriate given the amount of time that since it's last been addressed.
Okay. Would anybody else like to speak to this?
I have a question. I assume there's some sort of budget adjustment that would have to occur next year. Is that correct? You're going to take the increase for this year out of contingency. And next year would have to be accounted for in the regular budget. How does this compare with other Lafcos in the immediate, Central Coast comparable?
Yeah, so I listed out several other Lafcos within the report. Locally within our neighboring Lafcos, it is higher than those counties, but there is, San Diego pays their commissioners $200 for a meeting. And then there's another commission that pays $175. And so it's within the range of other commissioners.
Thank you. I see that it's on.
Yeah, and budgetarily, so we'll pay for it. Well, depending on how this end of the year budget works out, contingencies may be used. We may exceed revenues. We may have less expenditures, and so it may be covered. The end of the year will let us know that. But next year we'll budget for the new increase, and that'll reflect the next year's budget cycle.
Could I add one more thing onto that?
Yeah, you explain it very well in your one-page report.
Yeah, but the other thing I wanted to emphasize is that the budget doesn't call for the months that we cancel meetings, and the budget doesn't call for or doesn't address the time that a member doesn't attend a meeting, and there's a savings from that.
Yeah.
So the only thing changing is just the increase in stipend.
Yes.
Everything remains the same. If you do not attend a meeting, you do not get paid, as it has been in the past. That's how I understand it.
That's correct.
Okay. Any other comments from the commissioners? If not, Madam Clerk, do we have any public comment?
Chair Waterfield and members of the commission, we have no request to speak.
Okay, thank you. I will now entertain a motion.
I'll move for adoption as presented.
Okay, Mr. Guyer, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. We've got a first and a second. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Seves? Commissioner Seves, I believe your microphone is muted.
It was. Aye. Thank you.
Commissioner Freeman?
Aye.
Commissioner Guyer?
Aye.
Commissioner Hartman?
Aye.
Commissioner Lavanino?
Aye.
Commissioner Stark?
Aye.
Chair Waterfield?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you. Our next item is information items only. This is a receive and file report. Madam Clerk, will you please read the item into the record?
Chair Waterfield and members of the commission, information item number 1 is to receive and file a report on the 2021 Calafco Annual Conference in Newport Beach, October 6th through the 8th, 2021, and to provide direction to staff as necessary.
Mr. Prater?
Thank you, Chair. So on this item, this is to announce that Calafco is holding, as of right now, a annual conference in Newport Beach on the 6th through the 8th. There is no mobile workshop being offered. They are meeting all of the CDC guidelines and protocols and working with the hotelers to do their best for spacing and mask wearing. But we are looking for a general poll at this particular meeting on a show of hands from commissioners that might have interest in attending. Calafco Executive Officer Pamela Miller has asked that we indicate if our commission is planning on attending, a journal number, and any concerns that may come up as we all know cases are on the rise. Particularly regarding travel or attendance to the place or the location of the conference itself. So with that, the Calafco is still contemplating whether or not they want to modify any of the things to meet any of the concerns, and so we want to give them an indication. Secondly, we also need to start making reservations, booking rooms, and filing for the conference registration. And so all that needs, the deadline for that is September 7th as well. And so we'll need to begin with follow-up on that. And so we'd like the commission to have a discussion about their indication of whether they'd like to attend and how many that might be, and maybe give a quick straw poll for that. And then lastly, I'd note that if we are going to attend and have a presence from Santa Barbara Lafco, that we follow up with an email to the clerk's office on dates and times so that we can make sure we get your name into the registration and get your rooms booked for your arrival date.
Okay, one by one, do we want to just take a straw poll right now and ask each person individually if they would like to attend or may like to attend?
We certainly
Madam
do.
Clerk,
We can certainly do that, or maybe even ask if there are some concerns from any members that may be discussed, and we might be able to either take notes and get back to Pamela on how to best address those concerns if there are concerns about operations or procedures or something of that nature.
Well, absolutely. Since we're all here right now, we might as well just chime in.
Madam Chair, if I might, my concern is with COVID. I would assume if there's a widely recognized risk that they're going to cancel the conference. I guess the only gray area is if they decide to go ahead with the conference, but somebody still thinks that there's an appreciable risk in going. Is that a contingency we need to deal with?
Yeah, I think the plan is that the conference is going to be held. I think the straw poll that they're asking for is to get a sense of, amongst all of the LAFCOs in the state, how many anticipate of attendees from their commissioners and staff will plan on arriving in Newport. and whether or not it's beneficial to continue to still hold it if the numbers are adequate or not for that. And to also address in their preparations for all of our arrival, any concerns that individuals might have, that they can work with the hotelers in making sure things are clean and you get safe distance and things of that nature. So I think those are the types of questions that they're asking.
Well, I would just say that maybe
So
the strategic, Madam Chair, in Orange County may be the last county that would cancel at this point. But I would just say that though I don't have any personal concerns and do want to go to one of the conferences to learn more about Lafcos at some point, every organization that I have membership on a board, it seems like, is having an in-person meeting or a conference in the month of August or September or November. So I'm not going to be able to attend.
Okay, thank you very much. Pardon me. Does anybody have any other comments?
Commissioner Guyer?
Yes.
I'd like to attend, but I am concerned about, being the age that I am concerned about COVID. And so even if the COVID situation was at the level that it is today, I probably wouldn't attend.
Okay,
I've got a question, if I could.
please.
To our executive director, I know they're giving us a deadline, but is there another date where they anticipate making the final decision? I know it's going to be based on what the state tells everybody what we can do and can't do. I don't think they're leaving this to the county level to make that decision. So what is your sense as far as when they're going to make a final decision, or have they made that?
Good question, Commissioner Steves. I was not privy to a secondary date, so I think the way I would proceed forward is get an initial straw poll of commissioners that would attend given the current circumstances. We would register those commissioners and book hotel rooms for them. And then as things approach and get nearer, we can always decide to cancel. There is a cancellation date. I'll have to look that up, but I think there's time to still cancel, and we can even cancel, if the dynamics change. 72 hours for the hotel is commentary, and then the conference itself. If they decide to cancel the conference itself, typically what they do is just roll your registration over to the next year, or if you really want a refund, they can refund you as well.
Okay, I would have my name as possibly going then.
Will you repeat that, Mr. Seza?
I'll consider going, with the understanding that it may not happen.
Okay, and is there anybody else that would consider attending?
Yeah, Commissioner Guyer, I would consider attending with the option.
Okay, so we have a Seza, we have Guyer. I would like to attend as well. Waterfield. Anyone else?
I'd consider attending again, depending on the instant health situation. I'd like to go if it's safe.
Yes. I'm sure they'll let us know one way or the other, Mr. Stark. Is there anyone else? If not, then we'll just wait to hear more from the organization, and we can move on to information item.
Before we move on, Madam Chair, if Commissioner Guyer, Aceves, Waterfield, and Stark all email the clerks of the dates you'd like to arrive, or any other arrangements that you want to make. If you want us to assist with travel arrangements or anything of that nature, let us know in advance. I will also be emailing those commissioners offline if things change in that dynamic. And to add to that, I believe from the staff side, you'll have myself and our legal counsel that is planning on attending as well. So we'll have 4 commissioners and 2 staff.
Yes, Chair Waterfield and members of the commission, if I could just add to that, thank you to our Executive Officer Prater. If Natasha and I will be sending a follow-up email in the next few days as well for those of you that are still contemplating, not to rule you out. So if you do change your mind, we'll send out a follow-up email with so you can send us your response, whether or not you would like to attend, and then which days you will be attending. That is very important to save for the hotel rooms. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Okay, the next item of information is item number 2, and will the clerk please read that item into the record? This is also information only.
Yes, Chair Waterfield and members of the commission, I would also first like to note for the record that for information item number 1, we had no request to speak under public comment.
Thank you so much for that.
Information item number 2 is to receive and file a report on the Calafco Legislative Committee meetings held on June 18th and July 23rd of 2021.
Okay, commissioners.
Mr. Prater, please give us a report.
Commissioners, periodically we give an update on legislative bills. In this case, the omnibus bill was signed by the governor on June 28th. And that was a bill that our Lafco submitted a support letter for, and it was passed. There are also a number of other bills that were related to open meetings, open meeting laws, and that essentially got reduced down to one bill, which is AB 361, the Rivas bill. And that bill is still working through the process. But essentially, the change that occurs with the open meeting law for that bill is that the bill now declares it as a state-declared emergencies, and it has a sunset date of January 1st, 2024. And so that's the current bill. It's still working through the process. The second bill I wanted to note was SB 96, and that bill is specific to the Fallen Leaf Lake CSD. It's a unique bill in that it's looking at the composition of CSDs going from registered voters to landowners as a makeup and altering the 5-member membership to some lesser number like 3 members or something of that nature. It's being looked at and has been requested to be expanded to be beyond just Fallen Leaf because there are a number of CSDs that fall in this sort of vacation resort location where they can't get enough members to be on that particular case. And in Santa Barbara, we have Santa Rosa Hills, which is very similar situation for that. So we're watching that bill closely and see if we can get other CSDs amended to that bill. So that concludes my 2 real bills, and then the rest of the bills are listed throughout the report. If there's any particular bill that the commissioners would like more detail on, I can follow up with subsequent meetings and report back. That
Great,
concludes.
fantastic. Thank you. Are there any commissioners that have any questions in regards to this report? Madam Clerk, is there any public comment on this item?
Chair Waterfield and members of the commission, we have no request to speak.
Okay, thank you. The next item.
Chair Waterfield?
Yes.
Just real quick. I just wanted to compliment Mr. Prater for a very thorough report. It was a lot of reading, and I truly appreciate his attention to what's going on.
Thank you, Mayor Sierra. I think we all agree. The next item is item number 3. Madam Clerk, will you please read that into the record?
Chair Waterfield and members of the commission, information item number 3 is to receive and file a report on the 2021 Calafco events calendar.
Mr. Prater.
Thank you. Once again, this is, we told you, a number of Calafco items on this agenda. This is just a reminder of the events for the remainder of the year that are going on. There are a number of university sessions. There's the conference itself, and then there's a couple more board meetings. And so it's just to keep the commission appraised of what's going on in the Calafco scene. If you have any questions or anything, we'll happy to dig into it a little deeper.
I don't hear anybody. Hello? Is there someone out there talking?
Oh, we can hear you.
Okay, I can't hear anyone. I just heard you. So I'm assuming no one's speaking at this time, but I had a question on the October date where we have do we have our board of directors meeting before the annual conference?
That Commissioner or Chair Waterfield, the annual board meeting is after the conference. It kind of follows one of the meetings on Thursday, I believe.
Okay, so then those that will be attending will just be there and we just will not have our regular board meeting, I'm assuming.
Oh, you're talking about our regular
Yes,
commission
yes,
meeting?
absolutely.
Yeah. Our particular Lafco, Santa Barbara Lafco meeting is on the 7th, which is within the time frame of that conference. On our next September meeting, I'm presenting an item to move that date to the 14th so that we can still hold the meeting in October.
Okay, that was just my question. There's no other questions. We'll move on to item number 4. And will the clerk please read that item into the record?
Chair Waterfield and members of the commission, information item number 4 is to receive and file reports on pending Santa Barbara Lafco applications, file numbers 21-03 and 21-04.
Mr. Prater?
Chair Waterfield Commission, this is an informational item to acknowledge the 2 new annexations that were filed for the Goleta Sanitation District, one at 1020 La Vista and the other at 5965 and 5970 La Goleta. And so those 2 applications have been filed and have gone through the routing process, and they'll be before your commission hopefully soon.
Okay, thank you. Any comments from our commissioners on this information item? If not, do we have any public comment for this one, Madam Clerk?
Chair Waterfield and members of the commission, we have no request to speak.
Okay, thank you very much. We will now go to commissioners' announcements and any requests for future agenda items. Any announcements from our commissioners? If not, we will go to our executive officer for his comments.
Thank you, Commission. As you note in the report, I've included the governor's executive order that was issued on June 11th, which terminates the COVID procedures. And so our next meeting will be adjourned to September 2nd, and we plan to be back in person here in Santa Barbara for that meeting. We will also be paying very closely to the situation and let know if there are any changes. Let all the commissioners know if there are any changes. But the intent is to be all back together at the chambers on September 2nd. So that's
perfect. That sounds great. So we're in Santa Barbara. Wonderful. Well, if that's it, no other comments, we will now adjourn to the Thursday, September 2nd at 1 p.m. in Santa Barbara. Everyone have a wonderful weekend.